And you did this, and I want to talk about that.
Sure.
If you can stick around with us, we're speaking with Dave Trabert. He is the president of the Kansas Policy Institute. Raising taxes is mission one, it appears, for Governor Parkinson and his forces in the Kansas legislature. But is it really necessary? We're going to break it down when we come back. A full market update is just moments away. Kelly Lenz comes in with that. We'll take another look at that weather forecast. It's 1240 at 580 WIBW. Thanks for dropping by the program today. 3 o'clock, the Monday Money Savers get underway. Last week, we did Casa Restaurant, where we have the $50 gift cards available to you for just $25. Write down the phone number, 272-3456. 272-3456 for the Monday Money Savers. Last week we did Casa. $50 gift cards. We sold them to you for $25. They were gone in 23 minutes. This week it's backed by popular demand. If you're looking for a massage, Mother's Day is coming up. Great gift. 272-3456. 3 o'clock today is when the lines will open up for those. Backed by popular demand. Kind of thing maybe our legislators could use, maybe a rub down of some sort or another to get them relaxed a little bit, not so excited about raising our taxes. Dave Trabert joins me. He's the president of the Kansas Policy Institute. And Dave, just before the break, we were talking about the governor's challenge. He challenged the Kansas Policy Institute to bring him a budget, basically, that would do what?
That would fund state programs at the current year level that would offset the decline in revenue that we anticipate for next year. And also, we even, that's all he said. We even threw in the new expenditures that he identified in his budget proposal, things like some debt service payments or CAPERS payments that were increasing, total about $177 million. We put all that in, and we came up with over $100 million in excess of what was needed to balance the budget and meet all that criteria.
How's that possible? How did you look at it? He obviously issued the challenge knowing, in his mind, that there was no way you could meet it. How did you do it?
I wouldn't say that. I'd say that I think that anybody who's, come on, these are smart people. They've looked at it. They know that we're not coming up with anything new. Most of the things, we had a few new ideas in there, but most of the things we pulled together were things that have already been discussed in the legislature. They are choosing not to go those routes because they want to raise taxes. Simple things like the state has a lot of stuff. In fact, the state is still compiling. It doesn't know how much it owns. The range of property owned by the state, the latest estimate is somewhere between $12 billion and $16 billion worth of assets, like real estate, land, things that it could sell. That's one of the things that companies and individuals do when they get into a jam is they look around and say, well, what are some of the things we don't really need?
Right. We have a garage sale. Let's talk about some of that. You're not talking about selling off our state parks.
No. We're talking about office buildings, farmland. There's people, there's ag land. We own farmland.
For what reason? Do we know?
No. But There's people who would like to buy farmland. There are people who would like to buy back rights of ways near interstates and so forth where they own. There's people who might like to buy some of the office buildings we own. We own a lot of stuff. There's a proposal in the Senate. Senators Ty Masterson and Steve Abrams have put together a proposal that would allow the state to sell up to $180 million of its assets.
Wow.
Barely 1% of its assets. You turn that money, all the proceeds from that would become available to offset the revenue loss, to fund other programs, to maybe even restore some of the unfortunate cuts to social services. Just sell some of the stuff we don't need. That doesn't cost any jobs. There's another provision where we could grab $131 million in federal Medicaid matching money. The U.S. Senate has already passed this provision. The U.S. House has not acted on it yet. But you know how things are going. The U.S. House is going to approve that. I mean, granted, it's not done yet. But
is this one-time money? I mean, is this just...
It's one-time money. It's what it does. It's the federal government right now is doing a 70-30 match. They will pay 70% of what the Medicaid costs are, and the state picks up 30. That runs through December 31. What this legislation is designed to do in Washington is extend it through another 6 months, which would get us through the whole fiscal year. So it would stay at the 70-30 instead of rolling back to where it was at 60-40. That would save the state $131 million. 22 states have already put this money into their budget because they look at it and say, this is going to happen. It's just a matter of when. It's going to happen in the next few weeks. There's options like that. There's options like $70 million worth of efficiencies in Medicaid. It doesn't cut anything. It just says we're going to do things like use more generic drugs instead of name brand drugs. We're going to hire someone to come in, an outside company to come in and look for fraud, and we don't pay them anything unless they find fraud and they just get a piece of it. There are those kinds of common sense things. We had came up with about $126 million in expense savings, including those Medicaid funds. They may not be easy, but they are viable ways, and none of them on the list we presented would cost a job. We know, on the other hand, that a tax increase will cost thousands of jobs. Why would anyone push for a tax increase knowing it's going to put people out of work? I mean, we've already lost in Kansas over the last 2 years, we've lost 73,700 jobs in the private sector.
73,000?
73,700 from the end of March 09, or from March 10 back to March 08. Isn't that enough? Why would anyone push for a tax increase when there are ways to balance the budget, to offset the revenue, even to restore the unfortunate cuts to Medicaid and other social services? We can do that without a tax increase. They know it. That was kind of a tongue-in-cheek. It was probably a political move. They know it. This isn't anything, and that's why we didn't hear anything. There was no response to that. They know it can be done.